let's find out about the Nixonverse. Man of Steel, Richard Nixon. Okay. The last son of Alcatraz.
And girl. Your attention, please. Presenting a new exciting radio program featuring the thrilling adventures of an amazing and incredible personality. Faster than an airplane, more powerful than a locomotive, impervious to bullets. Oh shit! It's a bird! It's a plane!
No, I drive on highways extra cautious. Because no one knows what they're doing. Half the time you don't know what this guy's going to do without them. On a track, a lot of men spend a lot of time developing rules and ways of safety. And myself being very, very cautious on that.
Do you have any special advice for young people who drive?
Take it easy, drive. My change my mind.
Okay, wait. If we're decoding this a little bit. So, here it looks like there is some observation happening of the destruction of the Deanverse Earth. The emergence of the Horned Serpent. And then we see something shooting out of it. And I know, because I'm a huge nerd, that Superman is also called the last son of Krypton, but we have the last son of Alcatraz. And they're reading off Superman quotes. It's a bird. It's a plane. And then we see we hear James Dean talking about cars. And we see a sports car here. And then we see a car hit James Dean's car, which is what happened in our world. So this seems to be pretty solidly putting it in our world. This is our world.
He was not born the height of a man. He was born much taller.
What?
Even as a child, he could stand over. However, she chooses to be the height of a man. Why? Because he thinks himself as a man. And one man seems the size off. Sometimes to protect us. Sometimes to hurt. Sometimes to scare and humiliate. I believe one day that man will become a giant. Conquer us all.
Faster than an airplane, more powerful than a locomotive, impervious to bullets.
Okay. So now we know that there is the last son of Alcatraz, which seems to be a reference to the last son of Krypton, and the last surviving, like the thing we see shooting off is the last son of Alcatraz, and he lands in the Nixonverse, during World War II and seems to, while being impervious to bullets, be able to change his size at will. And also, I think we can assume that because Alcatraz was able to replace the Earth with, like, essentially more of itself, the last son of Alcatraz is made of whatever Alcatraz was made out of. Okay. The End of Their World, rendered by Daniel Wilson. It's interesting that it's called The End of Their World, because that seems to indicate that now it's from the Nixonverse's perspective of the Deanverse ending. So they were able to observe the destruction of the Deanverse, which, by the way, also would seem to indicate that these timelines are not lined up exactly, right? That's interesting, because I had assumed that time, like, ran parallel in each of these universes, but that does not seem to be the case if they are able to observe the future event, the future destruction of the Deanverse. Okay. We're the Nixonverse? I think so? The D-Day night. The D-Day night is sent back by a powerful explosion. The D-Day knight loses his helmet. The horned serpent lives. That sounds not good. Free Will on D-Day, Alice Avenue for the World Nightly. June 6th.
6, 1944. American units landed on Omaha Beach, unaware of the massacre that was about to occur. As those men waded into the water, they could not have known that their chances of survival that day were 1 in 4. Those men were outnumbered by hundreds of thousands of bullets. According to determinism, these men had no free will. The 10 million men who were drafted for World War II had no free will, and the men that day who landed in the water had nowhere to go but forward. The atoms of these men led them all to a moment of almost certain death. That all changed with the night. We know little about him, but what we do know is that he is not of this world. Though everyone's atoms are following a defined course in our universe, the night's atoms are not. His world is gone. And when you have no world left, then what course is there to follow? The night is the only one in our existence with true free will. Only he has the ability to change lives. Determinism states that the American men sailing toward Omaha Beach were meant to die that day. The night arrived in shining armor and rerouted those lives. The night deflected bullets, destroyed anti-aircraft guns, and lifted men out of harm's way. Before you could have shouted, "It's a bird! It's a plane!" The night had saved hundreds of lives whose fates were previously set. The night could have acted selfishly, watched as we lived out our lives, but he chose not to. The one man with free will chose to save those who were not meant to survive.
Hey,
With
No
the
Bean.
night, death is no longer a deterministic guarantee. At any time, at any place, the night can save us.
Okay, so we have the D-Day Knight and the last son of Alcatraz. Chat. Chat. That looks... That looks like what was in the goddamn lamp. The ray gun that created the angel. Do you guys see it? Yeah, this looks kind of like a pelvis bone with the broken jaw. What the fuck is it? The D-Day Knight's helmet after excavation. Oh, shit. Wait. So I don't think it could have been... I don't think this could have been it, given the fact that it has two gigantic horns. But I think we might be looking at the skull of Washington. I think we might be looking at the remains of the horned serpent here. And the titular horns. Okay. Damn, we're getting thrown a lot of curveballs. The helmet after restoration. Yep. Oh god, dude. Mr. Manticore presents the D-Day Knight. Oh, we got a different ending style here. The Queen of the Lunarians. Wait, it looked like there was text. Oh. This noise is very irritating. Landing area. This kind of looks like the moon? Grandma tried to burn these. Oh, yep. Pictures of the moon landing. America's on the moon. One of the people on the moon appears to have like a light or something. Or maybe that's not a fucking astronaut. Oh shit, dude. Oh, the Norwegian, this isn't a game. She was like a mirage or some kind of fantasy. Pat Cleveland, American astronaut. She doesn't wear shoes, winter or summer. Ask her where she's from. Mars. Beverly Ann Johnson, American astronaut. She's here. She will speak first. Ed Dwight, first man on the moon. So that is not that would I'm gonna assume that's the Queen of the Lunarians. Before Ed Dwight stepped off the lander, the Queen of the Lunarians spoke. The first recorded words on the moon.
Beauty is something else, something inexplicable that each person carries inside. This form of beauty related to her vision. There's a great division coming about on this planet. There are going to be a lot of people who will die because they just don't know how to live. They don't know what life's about. They don't know how to give, how to love, nor do they want to. And those who are beautiful enough, I don't mean physically, but something beyond that, they will have the chance to learn how to fly, to be beautiful, to rise above the level of the normal human, to be superior beings first, and eventually gods and goddesses.
My God in heaven, there's hair here. Ed, what the hell are you waiting for, man? Blast her!
I really like that one of them's just like, by God, there's air up here. We never would have suspected. And then John Glenn's just like, what are you waiting for, Ed? Blaster! Bam, bam, bam. Anyway, started blasting. Hey, Somniostatic, how you doing? We're going through the Monument Mythos. We're on season 3. That's just called the Nixonverse. John Glenn, international form of medical certificate, cause of death. Cause of death, eviction from reality due to Lunarian encounter. Approximate interval between onset and death, 63 seconds. Case closed. Okay, so she just yeeted him out of reality. Okay. Did you know it's Zan's birthday? I guess yesterday was. This is fantastic. Lunarian encounter. Oh, Somniostatic. Okay. Somniostatic. I'm gonna give you just a really quick recap. There is a there's a series of videos on YouTube called the Monument Mythos. We've gotten through season 1 and season 2. Roughly, season 1 and season 2 are about a universe called, colloquially, the Deanverse, where James Dean becomes president. And there are a lot of other differences between that universe and our universe. Our universe, at least up till the arrival of a entity known as the Son of Alcatraz, was the normal universe. Now it has become the Nixonverse, where Richard Nixon becomes president. Supposedly. So, do guns even work in space? Sometimes, depending on the gun. Yes, the Deanverse has been exploded after a fight between essentially an amalgamation of 17 soldiers that were turned into plasma entities known as the Angel, and a statue that was built by an insane sculptor who used a supernatural sword to slice up his body, displacing the body parts across space and time, and putting those into the statue, and then also parts of his daughter. And that either made the statue possessed or allowed them to kind of combine into an entity that can control the statue from inside. and those two entities fought in the Deanverse just outside of New York City, and their conflict blew up the entire planet and seemingly caused the entire collapse of their universe following the release of the underground god known as the Horned Serpent, who is actually George Washington, who had been spaghettified across all realities. So there's a whole lot going on, and if none of that made any sense, go watch the first 2 seasons. I guarantee it will make more sense. Yeah. Also, there are things called special trees, and they aren't trees, and they come alive sometimes and walk around like people. Hey, Vladdy, how you doing? Yes. Anyway, continuing on. Also, there's the D-Day Knight, the last son of Alcatraz, and now the Queen of the Lunarians, who can apparently just erase people from existence. Okay. End of Queen of the Lunarians. Jesus in Vietnam. What? Sweep and Redeem Trial 1.
And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and
It
in
was
favor
the
with
only
God
way.
and man. And
What the fuck? Is this implying that a gigantic Jesus on the cross appeared and bombed Vietnam? The first saved state. The United States? America anywhere, America everywhere. The peace equation. Our freedom is more important than your freedom. Our Christ is more important than your Christ. And that equals world peace. You know, sometimes this series is so fucking creepy, and sometimes it is so fucking funny. Oh god. Also, chat, if anyone would want to be a homie and gift Somniostatic a sub, we got a white name in here. Their peace is built on inequality.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Photograph of God by Ed Dwight. And if you'll remember, Ed Dwight was on the moon. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, that wasn't James Dean, Punky Gal. That was fucking Richard Nixon. It's called the Nixonverse because Nixon is fucking God. Oh my god. Oh. Oh god. Okay, this is definitely not our universe. Oh my god, what the fuck? What the fuck? No, Neuron. Neuron. If... Oh, God. Is Nixon God or is God Nixon? Wait. Chat, we know... Is it... Okay, wait, this might be dumb. Is it possible that Cathonaut A, that's referred to at the end of the Deanverse, is fucking Richard Nixon? Is he the Cathonaut? That, like, went into... Oh, shit, dude. Okay. I think he's the Cathonaut, and he went from the Deanverse, where he's just like James Dean, President of the United States, like best friend. And he's
Kyryu 216 gave Somniastatic a tier 1
Kyryu, thank you for gifting Somniastatic a sub. Absolute homie material over here. So, they sent... I think they sent Richard Nixon, who was homies with James Dean, the president. They sent him through as like the last person left, you know, from the planet. And I now don't know where the last son of Alcatraz came from. That kind of ruins that theory, so maybe I'm not correct here. But maybe this is like a Dr. Manhattan type situation. Like, he got atomized in that universe, but like, because of his connection to the other universe, due to him being a Cathonaut, like, he got transformed into like something greater. I don't know. Oh, goddamn. Oh, fuck. Or I'm correct on both? What? Okay, I don't get that, but we're gonna find out. Mr. Manticore presents Jesus in Vietnam. After interfering in the Korean War, the last son returned to his fortress in Alaska. Nuclear missiles followed him home. Oh shit, dude. So nuclear war happens. That's cool. The last son was captured. Okay, so someone on Earth essentially captured Superman. Grandma found this missing eye in Alaska. If she kept it, we will find it.
Our eyes are little round balls, about 1 inch in diameter. And in front of the eye are the curtains of skin we call eyelids. But if we could take away these coverings, which help protect our eyes, we would see something like this.
So, the last son of Alcatraz was captured, and his eye was taken. Apollo 11 revealed the magical properties of Lunarian anatomy. Apollo 12 retrieved samples. Apollo 12.
Apollo 12 to Houston, can you read? Apollo 12, this is Houston. Go ahead. We shot the Lunarian and recovered their eye.
Okay, now they have a Lunarian eye.
Copy that, Apollo 12. Have a safe takeoff. Over.
This is so deeply weird. Lunarian eye. For implantation. Begins transformation. And brainwashes the last son into a bastardized impersonator of the Lord. So, when they captured the last son, his eye, like, was removed, maybe in, like, the fury of the fighting, and then they took the eye from the Lunarian queen and put it in his eye socket, which caused him to transform, and they had him transform into Jesus on the cross. And bomb Vietnam, I think. They kind of have, it says brainwashes, so maybe it's kind of like a Winter Soldier situation. Now they can't be making Nixon because the Nixon encounter happened before this, during Apollo 11. I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. I didn't like seeing that eye move unexpectedly. If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. That is not what is in Matthew 6. Eye for an eye makes the whole world mine. Oh god. Okay, we're definitely finding out that this is not our world. There are some pretty key differences so far. Oh, holy shit, this is 40 minutes long? Okay. Well, buckle in, folks. I'm gonna go make a snack, because I've been streaming for 7 hours now. Before we start this one, hi, how you doing? It feels homey. I hope you're all enjoying this. We're gonna keep going for a while, but if you're enjoying it, remember to hit the follow button over on Twitch, hit the subscribe button over on YouTube, hit the like button on the stream as well, and consider coming on over to riverboat.gg and dropping some subs or donos, because that is what helps me to stay alive and continue making content. Additionally, if you're over in YouTube chat, consider becoming a member. We need 11 more members to hit our goal, which will help me out quite a bit. Here we go. The house in the ocean. The Nixonverse. Mom, can we have Monument Mythos? No, there's the Monument Mythos at home. The Monument Mythos at home. The house in the ocean. Oh no. I need to get a napkin. I made a little bit of a mess. Messy, messy Indian food. Or American, in this case. Yeah, but I don't want to make a mess at my workstation. She said the house was a mirage. Huh. I don't know how I feel about that. Seems ominous as fuck. What?
Thank you for having me here. I understand that these are difficult times and it takes a lot of strength to return to these beaches. The house is currently being monitored by our Navy and I'm receiving updates on an hourly basis. We
Thanks,
have an
Obama.
evacuation plan in place should the house approach during our time here. There are vehicles ready to transport us at a moment's notice. Now then, let us take a few steps over here. If you get a little closer, you can see the small wood chips that have been brought in by the tide. These chips are sharp and can easily puncture. They've washed up on several beaches in the area. I cannot overstate the importance of staying away. The sudden deaths of almost 200 beachgoers have been linked to these wood chips. Once they enter the bloodstream, the health of these victims deteriorates rapidly over the course of a few days. These chips are not made of normal wood and should be treated as carefully as you would treat a nest of fires. Luckily, every ones here on the beach have been temporarily neutralized by troops on the ground, so they're safe to touch. But we have not found a permanent solution in tens of thousands will continue to arrive on our beaches. I recommend that everyone stay far away from the shore and sweep your porches daily to make sure no chips have made it deeper. We are in the process of establishing cleanup teams who can properly dispose of any chips which have been found inland. But in the meantime, I suggest that
No one even look at the house. $2014. Last comment was a link to this video. Wait, what? Did they nuke a house?
thank you for having me here. I understand that these are difficult times and it takes a lot of strength to return to these beaches. The house is currently being monitored by our Navy, and I'm receiving updates on an hourly basis. We have an evacuation plan in place should the house approach during our time here. There are vehicles ready to transport us at a moment's notice. Now then, let us take a few steps over here. If you get a little closer, you can see the small wood chips that have been brought in by the tide. These chips are sharp and can easily puncture. They've washed up on several beaches in the area. I cannot overstate the importance of staying away. The sudden deaths of almost 200 beachgoers have been linked to these wood chips. Once they enter the bloodstream, the health of these victims deteriorates rapidly over the course of a few days. These chips are not made of normal wood and should be treated as carefully as you would treat an esophagus. Luckily, only once they're on the beach have been temporarily neutralized by troops on the ground, so they're safe to touch. But we have not found a permanent solution, and tens of thousands will continue to arrive on our beaches. I recommend that everyone stay far away from the shore and treat your purchase daily. Make sure no chips are made of deeper. We are in the process of establishing cleanup teams who can properly dispose of any chips which have been found inland. But in the meantime, I suggest that
I like that the restored video was somehow shittier than the original one. Wait. Oh. But in the meantime, I suggest that everyone look at the house. The original House Club. All started in 1934. The U.S. House Farm. The first trip was unsuccessful. What?
whenever I walk along the beach with my jeep, I am reminded of those days when I was in the club. Yeah, a good day. We felt like one big happy family back then. Even though I was a young member, the man let me take a few shots. We had a new, most expensive house for the time. But his health was never budged. They took us with the users and some of the more seasoned members said they could have hold it to the new goal. But I never saw it happen. We must go into the windows and if they hit the roof, it would be easier to see from the boat. All I know is that those windows will be glass. Because if they hit the roof, must go into the windows and if they hit the roof, it would be easier to see from the boat.
Well, that's silly. I like this.
All I know is that those windows will be glass. Because we see glass windows like the sky. I knew it very well from my time on the land. We never could figure out what those windows were made. Whenever we tried getting close to the house, could you step back? Picture a house taken on right back. It sounds silly, but I don't know how to describe it. That's all I remember. While the house never received any damage, we get from all the shoots. There were bound to be nasty accidents from time to time. I left because of an accident. It was terrible. That is the American people to stop shooting a house. I know it's tempting, but no good can come of it.
Okay, so if this is tying in with what we know so far, perhaps the windows are made of Giza glass. perhaps the houses are moving around in the ocean, similarly to the Ever Given, you know, with the crab legs. Like that would make a lot of sense with the houses stepping backwards, you know.
There are plenty of images in every state. Demonstrate. After all, the house has not received a scratch in over 50 years.
A healthcare insurance form. What? Looks like half of his face has been seared off.
Whenever I walk along the beach with Nancy, I am reminded of those days when I was in the program. Well, with good Lord. We felt like one big happy family after. Even though I was a young member, and they let me take a few shots. We have a new, most expensive pilot for the town. Those houses never bought. They took everything we gave them. Some of the more seasoned members said they put a hole or two in their world. But I never saw it happen. We must be aimed at the windows, since if they were to break, it would be easier to see from the boat. Well, all I know is that those windows were to be glass.
Wait.
It would be easier to see from the boat.
That's Ronald Reagan, because we can tell by the fact that half his face is seared off. This appears to be a picture of them on the beach, which kind of indicates the house might have taken a picture of them. It's very low detail, which indicates it's very zoomed in. Wait, if that is correct, if the house is zooming in, or if the picture is zooming in, then, and the picture came from the house, well, it seems like maybe these restored videos are actually the house. Yeah, this is the house. The house is rebroadcasting this, but trying to like get its way.
We can't see glass windows like the sun. I knew it very well from my time on the ranch. We never could figure out what those windows were made. Whenever we tried getting close to the house, it would step back. Picture a house taking
The house is coming from inside the house. Yo, dog.
That's how I remember it. While the house never received any damage, we get from all the truth. There were bound to be nasty accidents from time to time. I left because of an accident. It was terrible. That is the American people.
Okay, so far both of these restored ones keep looking at the house, keep shooting the house. Which also involves looking at the house. I know who lives in the house on the ocean. He doesn't step outside often. Today he did. The fuck? The last phone call of George W. Bush.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.
The Bushes are ambushed. The Bushes were ambushed. Haha! It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Ambushed. George W. and Laura Bush after the neighborhood ambush. They were they were ambushed by an entire neighborhood. Laura Bush, top left. Okay. The sudden increase in air pressure within the house partially ejected the former First Lady through a window on the second floor. The drop in pressure that followed caused her body to swell, become wedged in the window frame. Attempts to recover Laura were unsuccessful and the house was renamed in her honor. Oh god. Oh god, dude. What? What? George W. Bush is just orange paint. Last phone call of George W. Bush restored.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.
I very much dislike that it continues to shift. Oh. Guys, I'm starting to think that these restored videos are not leading us to positive results. Also, Al Gore was President Neron in the Deanverse. This is now the Nixonverse. This is a different reality where weird shit is going down.
The clubs keep going to the house, and their members keep getting hurt. We're in the process of establishing floating barriers between the house and the coast. These barriers are made of specialized wood chips. No ship can pass through them. I have a nickname for them, which should put things in perspective. Killer wood chips.
They've got a name now. Go get them houses, boys. Just Jesse. We are currently watching through the Monument Mythos, and you have caught us in the middle of season 2.5, which is going into depth and detail about the Nixonverse. And I can't keep explaining it, but long story short, eldritch creatures live under the monuments of America. There are multiple universes. One universe, James Dean became president. In this universe, Nixon manifested as God. The two universes are connected. I'm not going to go into all that right now. And we are currently learning about the Nixon universe. Yeah, Neron, exactly. With blasts every 3 years, the House eventually sent them all back. There's a lot of numerology in these videos around 3 years. The Crescent King.
Many people share your experience, Eli. Every testimony is consistent, but from what I've gathered, you knew about them before anyone else, so tell me, how did it all begin?
During an evening of fishing, a friend noticed a peculiar cluster of stars, unlike any of the surrounding celestial bodies. They were slowly growing in size, in unison. I'm known as the town's local astronomer, so she notified me of the phenomena that evening, and I immediately sailed out to her position. This was an event I couldn't ignore. But when I arrived at the coordinates she had given me, my friend was absent. Her boat was nowhere in sight.
Did this concern you at all?
I figured she went back to the town to get some rest. After all, it was almost midnight. After I positioned my telescope, I proceeded to examine the star cluster. At first glance, it did appear that they were growing together, but they were also passing by other stars. At this observation, I realized that they weren't growing at all. The stars were slowly falling toward me. I watched for several hours more until they entered the stratosphere, at which they dramatically increased in speed, hurling toward the sea.
Almost like comets. How fast would you say they were going?
I remember that in the span of a single blink, the stars had traveled from the top of clouds to just above the surface of the water. And it was just above the sea that they paused, hovering quietly over the waves. I could see that they weren't stars at all, for organic tendrils dangled from them. I was reminded of a starfish. The largest of the stars then addressed me. Eli, the Crescent King arrives in 3 cycles. You are his container.
Wait, what does this say? These look like words. You are... You are his container? I wonder if these are related at all to the puffballs we saw at the end of the Deanverse.
A container? What did you take from that?
I wasn't sure at the time, but I did believe that 3 cycles corresponded to 3 days. Just as I made that connection, the starfish jettisoned back into the sky, causing tremendous waves, knocking me off my boat. The telescope had snagged onto my sleeve, and as it fell, it pulled me to the seafloor, where I saw hundreds of sunken vessels, some of which appeared to be ancient in origin. But most appalling was the boat I found myself slowly landing upon, for it was my missing friend's vessel, and her submerged body laid nearby. I broke loose from the telescope and swam back to shore, where I fell unconscious from the exhaustion.
Do you know of a William Rice or Bert Essex?
I do not.
Well, they also went missing in the vicinity. Do continue.
When I awoke, it appeared that an entire day had passed, and 2 cycles were left before the arrival of the Crescent King. I was afraid. These were beings that were unimaginably faster, larger, and more powerful than myself. Just after this realization, I was violently thrown across the shore and landed behind a large stone. I looked about and realized that I was no longer in my own body. I looked off to where I once stood and found my physical being standing motionless. It appeared that my consciousness was extracted. Invisibly, I hid behind the stone as I watched the translucent shape of a massive creature lightly nudging my figure with its massive limb. It was the Crescent King. But there was still some connection. Some quantum element was left undisturbed during the hijacking of my neural networks. I could hear the Crescent King's thoughts as it explored my brain, testing my mental capabilities, akin to an individual trying clothes. This ritual abruptly ended, and I was soon sent back into my own body. The momentum at which I was returned knocked me unconscious once more.
Did these periods of unconsciousness contain any further messages?
Not that I recall. When I awoke, another day had passed, and I had 1 cycle left before becoming a despicable container. So I planned to spoil my body, make myself unworthy of any habitation. I ate sand, drank salt water, tore at my skin, all to discourage any hideous progression of events. This only furthered my fatigue and eventually led me to falling unconscious one last time. The last thing I recalled was a massive entity falling from the sky and crashing into the sea. The Crescent King had arrived. I don't remember much else.
Well, a vacationing family found you and you were sent to the hospital. You're not the only one with these stories, so I've been sent to get these testimonies. But you're luckier than most. I'd say half of the others are catatonic. A few cases got into the headlines and threw the whole East Coast into a panic.
That's good.
Good, huh? That's a funny way of putting it. You really believe this stuff, don't you? You think you're a container of this Crescent King?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. There is no woman shown. In fact, there is no photo. Laura Bush's body here was recreated with a computer program. Same way your mind recreates reality. Your mind takes your observations and decides whether they're real or not. Do you really know the difference? Everything you know comes from the same meat behind your eyes. If someone were to take over, you would never know. You'd think you were yourself all along. As Bill Clinton once said, there is no house in the ocean. There is only the house in your head. Walt Disney once transmitted a short Mickey Mouse cartoon to a house off the coast of South America. The house sent it back the following day. It wasn't the same cartoon. The following is a modern recreation of the altered animation. Oh dear. Friends! Whoa. Oh, it's sad. Oh, it's super sad. What the hell, dude? Friend! The Crescent King, the Crescent King is a friend. According to the house. Now he's in your head too. Your brain cells reorganize themselves to remember him. You will always have a neural pathway for His Majesty. By the time you finish reading this message, you will have successfully reprogrammed your brain to recollect him for the rest of your life. Sarah Queen. Yes, are you transgender? Little lanky. Trans. Just reprogrammed up? Wait, this is the... Oh, this was... That's right. This is a recreation of what Disney sent. Might be trans? Hell yeah! This is deeply weird. Okay, him getting hit by the train is very funny. I'm totally not trans. You're TNT, you're dynamite. Okay. France. Tillins turn to talk.
Large figures have appeared across the southeast. Every night, their breathing grows louder, and it's making everyone nervous. Yesterday, the university released X-ray images of them, revealing a metabolism resembling unstable nuclear reactors. Everyone in my neighborhood evacuated as soon as they heard the news. Except me. I want to see what happens.
Riley
Tomorrow
Tillin,
night, the moon will be at its closest all year.
too curious for his own
I
good.
believe the moon's alignment with the crescent heads will release a sort of heat wave. You can already feel it in the air. A pulsating warmth from those crescent features. That's Chase, the wandering robot. She was created last year as a special effect for a summer blockbuster.
Borealis
At
Phoenix,
some
thank you
point
very
during
much for
production,
subscribing over on
the
Twitch.
producers want Chase to exhibit free will from the revised scene, so Chase's creators reluctantly enabled her artificial intelligence. That's when she left the studio and began her excursion south. Nobody knows where or when she'll stop. Her creators claim to have no power over her. Towns on her predicted trajectory
Mexico
celebrate her arrival,
to New
cheering
Spain?
Chase on as she passes by.
What?
I've been tasked by the Department of Defense to organize a video that'll convince Chase to return to the studio. The finished video will eventually be uploaded to her mind and played on an infinite loop. I know it won't work. She's already adding stars to our sky.
Every summer, you've delighted millions of moviegoers. Your movies are critically acclaimed and the highest grossing of all time. The audience and the highest grossing every summer you've delighted.
Well, now that I don't know how to interpret this in any other way other than this is clearly the horned serpent. Because you have one broken horn, one finished horn, serpentness.
Delighted millions of moviegoers. Your movies are critically acclaimed and the highest grossing of all time. The audience misses you. They want you back. We want you back. Please come home and let's finish the film together. We'll listen to you and meet your needs. If you'd like, we can even transfer you into a human body after production, so you can better fit among your friends. And don't worry, it's a fast process. Once it starts, you'll wake up in your new body in less than 24 hours, just in time for the sunrise.
I
Come back home, Chase.
I don't like that.
Everyone misses you.
I don't like that one bit.
You know, listen to your captors. Proceed with our job.
To answer your question objectively, a cat, 3 new charges were pressed against Donald Trump, involving him attempting to cover up information and, revealing a U.S. battle plan to schmucks. Is it possible to leave comments while the stream is still going? I think so. So he is now facing 40 charges for the documents case. Also, one of his heads of Void. One of his heads of housekeeping, I think, is also being charged for not election tampering, interfering with an investigation. Status Void. Wait, this is the this is the Earth scene at the end of the Deanverse. If that status is void, then that means destroyed. Yep. thought it'd only end once? Oh shit, dude. Your brain is suspended in fluid. You are the house in the ocean. You are the only house in the ocean. He's facing 42 charges in the case? The article I went over said 40. No one is gone forever. Like Jesus, he became a carpenter. This is Sea of the Last Son. Actually, real quick, let's try and parse what we just watched. So in that 40-minute short film, we learned that our brains are the house on the ocean. And not only are our brains the house on the ocean, there is an entity that wishes, or maybe even multiple entities that wish to enter our houses. And the one character in that story that is known to be able to enter houses and exit houses is, I believe, implied to be the Crescent King. Because the Crescent King is kind of like an infection. Like, you think of him, and then he is in your house. You know, he exists. Did that just end? Yep, it just ended. So I think what is being implied there is that the Crescent King, if he can acquire enough real estate in people's heads, if he can live rent-free enough in other people's heads, can basically manifest and become real, and he spreads and becomes more powerful the more people whose heads he lives in. And I think at the end there it implies that the Crimson King's goal is to void the earth. Now, I'm not entirely sure why or what the origins of this being are. And now we are them too. Yeah, now the Crimson King has infected us as well. All of us who watched that. Okay. So then you have the last son of Alcatraz, who has been transformed into literally Jesus Christ on the cross. Because he has the eye of a Lunarian in his head. Off the coast of Dark Alaska. Why is it called Dark Alaska? Does that mean there's a light Alaska? Also, Borealis Phoenix, thank you for hitting the follow button. I really do appreciate that. What? The house in the ocean is not an urban legend. It is a cover story. Lunarian cloud ship, last son of Alcatraz. I've abandoned human matters for a peaceful existence. I inflicted enough damage on Vietnam. It was not you. You were not yourself. I was, and always will have been, a vessel for hate and destruction. Yet you have the will to change. Even now, you resemble a house more than a human being. It is a copy of my childhood home. It is how I wish to present myself to those I have hurt. Okay, so in this setting, in this reality, now the last son of Alcatraz has become a literal house on the ocean. Because he can become anything, remember. Your powers are more similar to a Lunarian king than a man. You may be the king in our prophecy. Join our kingdom and discover yourself. I belong to no nation. Rule our kingdom. I will not. This is my domain, my sea. A sea of the last son? Foolish. Our prophecy is set. You will sit on the throne that is rightfully yours.
No!
No. I don't think he's okay, dogs. Damn, that's so cool, Stabman. Okay. So now we know that the Crescent King either leaped from one world to another via ideas, or the stuff we saw about the Crescent King was happening in the Nixonverse already. Oh boy. Oh wait, evolution of the last son. I don't know what this means. Maybe the Cathanaut. Then last son as like a caped superhero. Then as Jesus Christ. And then as the Crescent King. Crescent King, don't think it, don't say it. Don't pee it, don't spray it. The D-Day night returns. After Vietnam War ended, the last son became the Crescent King. Lunarians used him to destroy language in America slowly. Oh, wait. Okay, interesting. So, the Lunarians are using the Crescent King's ability to infect people's minds to destroy the concept of language in America, which is happening slowly, which is why there are a couple misspellings here. You know, two I's, Lunarians isn't spelled with an I, the last son is the lost son, America's missing an I. Language, yeah. Changes were subtle. No one noticed a long time. Eventually, no one understood themselves. No one heard. No one spoke. Lunarians builded schools everywhere. Schools taught new language to us. Language. Their language. We hear their language now. We speak their language no. We thank their language no. English hard because our worried is theirs no. Our world is theirs now. It will take all team to relearn everything. The avenues. Before I can no speak longer, and we can hear not more. I tell you the story of man that once good time ago. Fortunate are we I record his story before he stole language.
He began like most of you, a small boy in a small town. It was not an easy living. His parents were sharp like whips, and his classmates were sharper. The boy would get up every morning to clean his daddy's shop before going to school by himself. All by himself. On those long, lonely drives to school, the boy would think about his role in the universe. He liked to think his role was to help. Help not himself, but everyone around him. But in order to help everyone, he believed he first had to win. At any cost. During one drive, he was particularly distracted by his thoughts, and he crashed into another car. The boy stepped outside and saw a dying man crumpled in the wreckage. The boy tried to pull him out, but the man was
That boy killed James Dean!
Impaled between the seat and the wheel. The man looked the boy in the eye and said, "You won, little bastard. You won." Then the man's life drained away.
Aww, Dean. Ah.
The boy cried hard as he tried to yank the dead man out of pain or exhaustion. The boy fainted. And he had a heavenly dream. The boy was on a cliff by the sea. He was very afraid. A car was rushing up behind him. If the boy stood still, he would be hit. So the boy dove off the cliff. As he fell, faster and faster, he believed harder and harder. And just as he was going to hit the water, the boy was swept up back into the air, and he found himself flying over the sea faster than an airplane. When the boy woke in the street, he still believed. And he found himself flying away from the scene. Win, at any cost.
Doodleburb, thank
so
you
that
for
I can
subscribing
save
over
everyone,
on Twitch,
the boy
lovely.
thought, as he cut.
I hope you had a wonderful stream. I just really like your art a lot. I'm still working on getting the piece that you made for me and my partner framed, and I'm really excited to get that done. But I appreciate you, friendo.
To the warm, open sky.
I hope he reminds from story, memory, and changes his mind. I want us all to health again. I hope we remind him back. Reverse King, return language. If he not, then I hope night returns and saves us together. I hope night saves all us.
Oh my God!
After broadcast night drop Alice Avenue off Chrysler Building. No one is gone forever. Do not share their secrets. Mr. Manticore presents D-Day Night Returns. I have no idea what's going on at this point. So it seems like Alice, or the Avenues, Alice Avenue was the reporter at the Avenues. And it seems like they asked the Knight to save the planet from having like all their language stolen. And the Knight just showed up and threw Alice Avenues off the Chrysler Building. Okay, cool. Guys, I have a sneaking suspicion that the Nixonverse is totally and utterly fucked. Night and day. Is this implying that the D-Day Knight is Frank Sinatra? New York City. Lunarian cloud ship conducting electrical brain surgery on human civilians. Why is everyone a celebrity? Not everyone. I think I'm also following, maybe? Dear World Nightly, I lost my temper. I didn't mean to hurt her. It's okay, because she still lives. In my world, statues held souls. Here is evidence. Night. Okay, so the D-Day Night is clearly from the Deanverse, where statues could indeed hold souls. Let's go back to the Deanverse. This place sucks. Hey, my dude! Welcome. We are currently going through the Nixonverse season of the Monument Mythos. Hello, Carmen's Toe Beans. How you doing? How we all doing? You guys missed the interview that I did with Rico Rants. It was pretty good. Definitely check that out. It's making fun of American growing illiteracy, I think. Maybe. Uh, how we all doing? And if you guys have no idea what the Monument Mythos is, real short summary. There have been 2 seasons so far. This is the 3rd one, so I'm going to give you the most truncated version I can. There are multiple universes. One of those universes, James Dean became president. That's the Deanverse. The Deanverse was eventually destroyed after the Statue of Freedom and an amalgamation of 17 soldiers fought each other. They blew apart the crust of the earth, revealing the spaghettified form of George Washington, who then annihilated the entire universe of the Deanverse. And that's kind of what's going on in the Deanverse. And now we are looking at the Nixonverse, which is a different universe in which there are 3 figures that are primarily at odds. One is the Crescent King, essentially a virus that can transmit itself to different bodies through by essentially making other people think about it. Then there is the Queen of the Lunarians, who is hell-bent on stealing language from the Earth, and particularly America. And then there is the D-Day Knight, who's cuckoo bananas and just murdered a woman and is now fruitlessly trying to convince everybody on the planet that souls can continue on in statues, and it's kind of sad, really. That's where we're at. You know what? There we go. We're moving on. Anyway, need another dab? Yeah. I think the D-Day Knight might have some issues. Oh, he stole her mouth. That's cool. Okay, is one of her eyes missing now? Okay, her head's gone. And he's putting on her head. Oh boy, yeah, this is really inviting new viewers into my content. Yeah, this is great. This is really accessible. The D-Day Knight wears the head of the Alice Avenue Memorial statue. Cool. He removes it the next day. Okay. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? So fucking weird. Grief can make you a monster. What the fuck? Autopsy. Okay, literally the title of this video is Nixon is God. Autopsy of Ed Dwight. Preliminary results not for official use. Cause of death, self-inflicted head wound from ray gun. Location, the moon. Motive for blast might be revealed in audio. The following audio does not feature the voice of Ed Dwight. The anonymous voice heard in this audio is widely referred to as the Moon God. God, of course, is the greatest philosopher of all, Richard Nixon.
I'm recording now. Tell me everything.
I remember when I left the Horned Serpent. I landed on your moon first. And you knew better to set foot on your world. And I wondered whether you all would accept me or not. To find the answer, I have run an experiment. I produced 3 beings out of myself.
Nixon is literally God.
The Knight and the Queen.
Okay, we also have confirmation of my theory that Richard Nixon is the thing we saw shooting off of the Horned Serpent. I don't know if that means he's a Cathanaut, though, but if he is, I called that shit.
All 3 of them are extensions of me.
I didn't call that shit, though.
They are meant to test your world. They will go mad, each in their own way. Your world is not kind to them. Your world will never be kind. Their sacrifice will make me realize that I can never risk stepping foot on Earth either.
Let me be perfectly clear.
I will never be to your world is right here on the moon.
I think it's less they're all the same guy and more like they're all aspects. Like kind of like the Jesus, the like the Son, the Father, the Holy Ghost type situation.
One more thing. It is inevitable that the Son will become the king of the Lunarians. Once his transformation is complete, I must destroy him. For he will be one of the most dangerous leaders in the universe. The king must perish. I am sorry, Mr. Dwight. No human was ever meant to hear what I have said.
Nixon is God! I actually really like this art. It's good. The Ed Dwight Paradox.
I'm recording now. Tell me everything. I'm recording now. Tell me everything. I'm recording now. Tell me everything.
Huh. I think, honestly, Neuron, I think the reason, I think it's a joke. I think, honestly, it boils down to, he thinks it's funny to make fun of Nixon, and it is admittedly very funny that the only survivor out of an entire planet of people is Nixon, and not even because he's like the president or someone important. He's literally a guy who was just friends with James Dean. Queen tonight.
I wanted to welcome them. I wanted to welcome all humans to our kingdom. We all could have been great together. We could have all been peaceful. But my invitation was met with pain. A bright, burning pain. I should have known. Their entire world is built on inequality. Even their peace equation is an inequality. Night, you are now blind, deaf, and mute. You cannot taste or touch. As long as you stay on Earth, none of your senses will return. But you can get everything back. Our prophecy guarantees this. Join our kingdom and become a prince. Run alongside me. Rule with our king.
Oh. The Alcatraz checkmate, the classic move where everything you know and love is destroyed in one horrible instant. Everything you know and love is atomized. A classic maneuver. Alcatraz matter attacks Lunarian bodies and destroys cloud ships. Human language is restored after 9 months. Grief made him a monster. Will not stop crying. Okay, so that seems to imply that the D-Day night and like sacrificed himself and killed the Lunarian Queen. And now it's just the Crimson King. He does not want to live. It's the Crescent Knight. I might have said it wrong. Serpent lives. I don't know what that means. There's definitely a visual similarity. I don't know what that means though. Moon Man. You rang.
There will be no physical altercation. I will not bring about an end like that of my own world. The only way to destroy the Crescent King is to render him as fiction. The same way your mythology.
Chat, remember that Cathanaut note at the very end of the Deanverse? Render it theatrically. Render him as fiction. I think it's not just the the Crescent King who might be spread via ideas. There might be other entities, perhaps like the Horned Serpent, who spread via idea. Why else transmit the data of the Deanverse theatrically? I think something else is going on here that I think there's like a completely additional layer to all of this, and I feel like I just found like a tiny piece of it.
Urban legends to the power from gods and monsters. He will have no authority once no one believes he is real. I must also render myself as fiction. I have involved myself too deeply. Like your world, I will be a necessary sacrifice. No one will feel pain. No one will be killed. This world will be fictionalized.
Isn't there an aspect where anyone that is believed in by many can create a god? I don't know that we have encountered that idea in this yet. If that idea is in here, I don't remember them introducing it. Maybe someone else can remember? No tulpas? The Nixon... This is so cool, dude. Mr. Manticore presents the Nixonverse with art by Ed Dwight. Featuring the Last Sun, the Night, the Queen of the Lunarians, and much more. Dude. Art by Ed Dwight.
Ed Dwight did not blast himself. It was a cover story. It was Nixon who killed Ed Dwight. Nixon was no god. He was not even a man. Nixon was only one of many survivors.
Oh shit. Okay, so there was more than just one survivor of the Deanverse.
He did what we all secretly wish to do, but cannot. Nixon used his power to erase history. Nixon erased the past. Ed Dwight was twice the god that Nixon could ever be. He was bold. He was kind. He was good. In our world, Ed Dwight never went to the moon. Instead, he creates monuments. In our world, Ed Dwight preserves the past.
Wait. Okay, so now we're introducing another world. Also, they've shown multiple pictures of this guy. Is he a real person? Oh shit. Yeah. Ed Dwight is an American sculptor, author, and former test pilot. He's the first African American to have entered the Air Force training program from which NASA selected astronauts. He was controversially not selected to officially join NASA. Listed in the Air Force 1953, completed the Airman Cadet pre-flight training. He graduated cum laude with a Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Engineering. In 1961, Chuck Yeager was running the Aerospace Research Pilot School. Yeager said Curtis Lee May called and told him, Bobby Kennedy wants a colored in space. Get one into your course. Dwight was selected to enter ARPS shortly after that phone call. So they wanted to put a black astronaut in space. Because President Kennedy wanted that to happen. Okay. He was not selected by NASA to be an astronaut. He resigned from the Air Force in 1966, claiming, according to The Guardian, that racial politics had forced him out of NASA and into the regular officer corps. Okay. And then he became a sculptor. That's wonderful. He's done a number of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. sculptures. He literally does create monuments. He's really, really good at it, too. Huh. Good night, Alexa Sick. Wait, Mr. Manticore presents the Ed White Paradox in collaboration. Okay. So it seems like the Nixonverse was essentially destroyed in order to become a fictionalized universe that is created by Ed Dwight. And by Ed Dwight rendering that world, that universe as fiction, he robs all of the characters of their power. Nixon, the Crescent King. How do you destroy a whole universe? Well, Nixon had the power to do that. He did it with him. He did it himself. So it's possible that, like, essentially they sent Ed Dwight to our world in order to make those monuments. You know, they did a swap-a-rooney. Because remember, one can swap with their mirror in another universe. Said that Nixon was not a god, but Nixon was powerful. Nixon created all three of those creatures that were destroying the very fabric of language. Keep in mind, Liberty and the angel fighting on Deanverse Earth was enough to crack the Earth and free, you know, the the horned serpent, which, you know, is Washington, and then that destroyed that universe, essentially. So, you don't need, apparently we've established you don't need to necessarily be a god in this universe to destroy a universe, I think.
Only if you've been in the deepest valley can you ever know how magnificent it is to be on the highest mountain.
Dwight Comics. Did that say April Fool's at the beginning? I believe it did. But this is the last video in the Nixonverse catalog. Nixonverse 2. Well, that was very fun. I'm glad we did that. Make it stop. It's done. It's done, baby. However, we do have one season of the Monument Mythos left. I think, however, we'll have to wait for a new day because I have been streaming for 9 hours. 9 hours! I'm so tired. When are we doing season 3? Probably tomorrow.